The Alex Murdaugh case and the county clerk accused by his attorneys of jury tampering. She spoke publicly for the first time, denying any wrongdoing in the trial that led to Murdaugh's conviction for killing his wife and son. Eva Pilgrim here with the details. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, George. Becky Hill speaking out in a sworn affidavit defending herself over allegations she tampered with the Alex Murdaugh jury. And prosecutors have her back, saying these claims are unfounded and not credible, arguing that Alex Murdaugh failed to successfully show why he deserves a new trial.
This morning, the woman at the center of Alex Murdaugh's push for a new trial, breaking her silence and declaring her innocence. Murdaugh's legal team accusing Becky Hill, the court clerk, of tampering with the jury. Hill denying the allegations against her, saying in a new sworn affidavit she, quote, did not tell the jury not to be fooled by evidence presented by Mr. Murdaugh's attorneys.
Guilty, guilty, guilty.
Hill seen here in court reading the guilty verdict. The judge handing Murdaugh a double life sentence for the murders of his wife and son. But Murdaugh's attorney saying Hill pressured the jurors to reach a quick verdict and that she invented a story about a Facebook post to remove a juror she believed might not vote guilty, all to secure a book deal for herself and media appearances that would not happen in the event of a mistrial.
The clerk of court had improper private communications with the jurors. The subject matter of those communications was the credibility of the defense.
Hill publishing this book after the trial and seen discussing the verdict in a recent Netflix special, Murdaugh Murders, A Southern Scandal.
I had a feeling from our time together with the jury out at Moselle that it was not going to take our jury long to make the decision in this case. It's just called that women's intuition.
But in her affidavit, Hill saying she never voiced that thought to the jurors, never told them this shouldn't take us long. Prosecutors saying none of the jurors who willingly interviewed with state investigators reported feeling any pressure or influence to reach their verdict, and that only one former juror who was dismissed from the trial and did not deliberate on the verdict made direct statements supporting Murdaugh's allegations. Hill acted improperly. Hill's lawyer telling ABC News in a statement, "We have fully respected the investigatory process, which was tough given the horrible things said about Mrs. Hill on Alex Murdaugh's behalf. However, you can put to bed any allegation that Mrs. Hill tampered."
And all of this as we are learning new details about why that juror was kicked off the jury late into the trial. The state's latest filing explaining it was not for a Facebook post, but for a conversation she had with two tenants of her rental property. Guys.
Okay, Eva, thanks. It's been our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. Explain what this controversy is about.
So the first step here is about whether they can even get a hearing for a new trial, right? It's a big deal to talk about overturning a jury verdict. It's a big deal to go back and start saying, well, what were the jurors told? What did they talk about? You generally don't do that. So right now what they're asking for is a hearing to determine whether they should get a new trial. This is step one in the process by the defense with now the state's response.
The county clerk denies the allegation. How strong is this motion for the prosecution?
It's a really strong response. I mean, I'll tell you, when I first heard about this, I was thinking, this is really bad for prosecutors. The idea that the court clerk is coaching the jurors, is telling them you better hurry up, talking to them about the testimony before the verdict is in, etc. It sounded terrible. And yet now you learn, wait a second. 9 of the 9 jurors who wanted to be interviewed by the state all say it didn't happen. The one juror making the allegation was actually interviewed before she was dismissed and didn't say this at the time. So this is a very powerful response from the state and puts this entire thing into a new light.
So you think a new trial is a long shot here?
A new trial is a very long shot. The question is, do they even get a hearing, right? A factual hearing. That one I think they might get. A factual hearing, that's about 50-50. Whether they get a new trial, that remains a big long shot for Alex Murdaugh.
Well, we'll be covering it each step of the way. We know Eva Pilgrim will, and we love having you here with us too, Dan Abrams. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.